a general partner at 3x Capital. Today with me is Petro, who is a senior investment analyst at our firm, and we will discuss an exciting topic of ZK Rollups and Layer 2 solutions in general. Today with you. The agenda for today will be the presentation from our side on the basics of this disrupting technology, and after that we will go through the on-chain data and present several sources of data to you. Petro, would you like to start with the presentation, please?
Yeah, of course. Hi, everyone. Pretty excited to be here. Thank you for the warm introduction, Ivan. I will start sharing the presentation. Give me a second. Yeah, so we will start from introduction. We were actually talking about ZK Rollups back in the past, like 2 months ago. We wanted to review the ecosystem and see what are the updates. But before we will move to updates, it would be great to remind you guys what is this technology about and what potential we can see here. So the agenda of the presentation is that we will touch a blockchain trilemma at the very beginning. Then you will see how that Ethereum is structured and what updates we can expect and what is the ecosystem activity. And then we'll move to scaling solutions, talking about different rollups and other technologies. And by the end, we will take a look at ZK Rollups and we'll review the performance of the ecosystem. Yeah, let's start from the very beginning. You're fully aware of the blockchain trilemma because a lot of people were talking about it. And the problem here is that there is no blockchain that can be scalable, secure, and decentralized at once. And the problem here is that you can be fast, you can be scalable, but you won't be decentralized. And a lot of smart minds are trying to solve this problem with introducing some unique decisions, some unique ideas, and the current focus and current potential here is tied to scaling solutions of Ethereum, and we will take a look at them today more deeply. So for you to understand what is Ethereum about, you can think it as a community-run technology. It is the biggest blockchain in terms of number of decentralized applications, number of users, in terms of volume. And I wanted to say activity, but you will be surprised today to see that Ethereum is not the most active blockchain, and rollups are actually more active in terms of number of transactions. What we have about the latest Ethereum statistics, they were actually collected a few months ago, and we will be able to compare these numbers with today's data that we will show you. But what you see is that value locked in decentralized finance back in summer were valued at 55 billion on Ethereum. And a quick peek for you that these numbers haven't changed significantly, but the numbers for some other chains changed drastically. You will have a chance to look on it today. Yeah, moving forward to the problem that we have. Here is the TPS of the blockchains of the Ethereum. Here you can see that currently it's standing at 36 transactions per second, and the idea behind scaling solutions is to create more scalable blockchains on the second level, meaning that these blockchains will have a security of Ethereum, but will be able to scale it and bring more speed to the network. And a lot of projects are doing well with it, but a few of them are sacrificing the security. Because if you're talking about kind of rollups that we have, you might think about them as something that is focused on scalability, but sometimes sacrificing the security. And we need to have a solution that will have all at once. And zero knowledge potentially can be a solution to it, but a lot of work need to be done here to have a proper solution to solve this problem. The second problem here is that with TPS that we have right now, it's not enough to work in some ways of increased activity. So you can see that right now, the prices of crypto are performing quite well. Like a few minutes ago, we see that Ethereum break out through $2,000. And in such environment, the activity from traders, investors, and some users of different applications is increased. And usually there is not enough throughput on the network to be able to work with these transactions and deliver high-speed activity. And right now, the solution for it is increasing the fees on the network. I'm someone who is paying a lot of attention to these types of issues, and I do have an extension in my browser, and I see right now that the fees for Ethereum mainnet chain are standing at 170 Gwei, which is roughly 10 times higher than the average fees that we had during the previous months. So you can see when assets are performing, the price is growing, or even if the price is dropping, if you have the increased volatility on the market, the fees for blockchain are increasing dramatically, and we don't have a proper solution to actually work with such cases of increased activity. And the solution for it might be the scaling that we talked about it. The idea behind it is actually working with the part of activity off-chain by bringing more cost-effective transaction and aggregating transactions data into bundle and getting back it to the layer 1. So you can think about layer 2 solution as something that is collecting data into single point, creating the hash of transaction and working on the transaction processing and getting it back to be stored on layer 1. So you have the layer 1 security, and you have increased scalability, which is approximately in factors of 5 to 10x increased speed, decrease in transaction fees, and it can be used to actually mitigate the cases of increased gas fees and increased activity, and be able to make people use scaling solutions instead of Ethereum and not make gas fees even higher for layer 1 chains. So what we see here is that scaling solution has great potential, and they have different different names, and they are different structured differently from the technology perspective. So the biggest and the fastest solutions that we have right now are actually rollups. So if you can see the percentage of distribution of different scaling solutions, you might see a lot of rollups, but also there are types of Validium, plasma chains, and payment channels. Actually, recently, Vitalik Buterin wrote a good article about differences of layer 2s. We will share this article with you, so you will have a chance to take a look at it as well. But today we will be mainly focusing on rollups, including optimistic rollups and zero knowledge rollups. So what do you know about zero knowledge proof? It's actually a good scientific term, and it's something that allows you or party to prove to another party that a statement is true without getting all the information publicly available. Meaning that you can prove that transaction was successful without storing all the data about the transaction, meaning it allows you to have a better speed on the blockchain, higher throughput, meaning more TPS per second. And depending on the type of zero-knowledge proof, you will also have a good security here. So let's take a look about the difference of optimistic rollups and ZK rollups. So the main difference is that with optimistic rollups, you have the assumption that the transaction is valid by default, meaning that you think about the transaction that it is right unless proven otherwise, unless you will find some mistakes in it. Transactions are actually executed off-chain and then bundling into a group and getting back to layer 1 chain. ZK rollups are working with zero-knowledge proofs. So transactions are valid only if it's proven to be so. So usually for ZK rollups, they have a separate prover that is working with ZK proofs to show that transaction is valid and to move this data back to the chain by Oracle or by a connection that you have between layer 2 and layer 1. Now, yeah, for ZK Rollups, we do have two leading projects that are working in this direction right now. The first one is ZK Sync, which is the ZK Rollup based on snarks. They're using snark cryptographic proofs. And we do have another project that is called StarkNet. And the main difference is in using a different cryptographic proof. And in terms of scalability, StarkNet seems to have higher throughput, up to 9,000 TPS, where for ZK Sync, they have up to 2,000 TPS. But what advantage ZK Sync has over StarkNet is that for developers, it's much more easier to build on snark cryptographic proofs because much more information, documentations, and actually people who are capable of programming and working with snarks. But StarkNet and Starks are more like a novel way to build a ZK rollup, and you will find much less information and you will need much more work to achieve the same milestones that were achieved by snark cryptographic proofs. And for ZK Sync, the smart contract support is also a difference between these two chains because ZK Sync is actually supported by all EVM compatible smart contracts. And the case for StarkNet is they have a separate programming language called Cairo, and they are supporting Stark-based smart contracts. There is a project that is working on compatibility between StarkNet and EVM chains. I can say that they're doing great and they are supported by Vitalik Buterin, who mentioned that there is a need of interoperability between StarkNet and EVM chains. And I don't remember the name of project right now, but we need to check on it and share some information in comments. If you guys remember the name, feel free to drop it in the comment. And meanwhile, I'll move forward to tell you differences between snarks and starks. The main difference here is in trust assumption, because for snark, you will need to set up a trusted setup. You will need to create a trusted setup at the very beginning, which will be responsible for generating ZK proofs. For starks, actually, there is no need and requirement to create a trusted setup from the very beginning, which is actually mitigating the risk of having not a trustable setup from the very beginning, because you can think that you are creating a network, and when you have the responsibility to set up this trusted point, if this point was created with some vulnerabilities, this is the risk for blockchain to be hacked in the future. For starts, this risk is actually mitigated due to the lack of having trusted setup at the very beginning. For scalability, snarks are less scalable because the proof sizes are larger than for starks. And there are some other, I can say, technical differences that I don't want to dive into with you today. I wanted to look more into numbers that we have for these blockchains. And actually, here are the numbers that were collected in the past. So it will be great if you can look through different sources and see how these metrics actually changed and see what activity we have right now on the ZK proofs on the ZK rollup, and compare them to Ethereum as L1 activity, but also some other rollups like optimistic rollups like Arbitrum and Optimism. So I'm getting back to the room to see if we have any questions in the comment. I don't see it. I will pass the word to Ivan. Ivan, maybe you were following the chat. Do we have any questions here?
Sure. Thank you, Petro. I think we have a lot of comments, and thank you guys for being so active. That's always a pleasure to work with you and present information to well-engaged audience. So today we will definitely compare the metrics for ZK Sync, Starknet. But before we will do this, I think it would be great to also have a comparison for Ethereum, because as Petro mentioned, we did this presentation 2 months ago, so we can see the growth, the difference together with you. So let me maybe share my screen as well and show you the past metrics. And you, Petro, please help me to comment regarding the changes. So just give me a second. I already found this data on the official website of Ethereum. Basically, it's ethereum.org, where we can see the amount of Ethereum that is already staked. So it's 28.1 million. Do you remember the number that we had 2 months ago? Was it around 20 or something?
Yeah, it was like that. It's like that. So we have a good growth here.
Yeah, and also the amount of transactions has grown for around 8%. So I remember we had less than 1 million transactions per day. So just in one day, just to imagine the size, the volumes, and amount of activity on layer 1 blockchain Ethereum, it's more than 1 million transactions every day. Also, the TVL has grown significantly. I think we had around, how much, Petro? Maybe around 40.
It was 55 actually, and it is surprising for me that TVL is not growing, but the total is staked on the blockchain has grown. So we had 6 million is gross in token in total is staked, but the TVL locked in DeFi protocols is staying the same. So the understanding of it for me is that less people are actually providing liquidity to some DeFi protocols, and more people are staking into some liquid staking protocols, or just delegating their stake to node operators, which is quite insightful.
Yeah, and also new solutions are building and creating. As far as I remember, Eager Layer, they have reached around 100,000 ETH staked, if I'm not mistaken, in just 1 or 2 days. And also several other liquid staking derivatives protocols like Swell have increased the amount of Ether that was staked. So that's interesting to observe. Even during this bear cycles, we have a lot of believers who are supporting these ecosystems. So probably you know that starting from 2022, I believe it was September, Ethereum moved from proof of work to proof of stake. So right now the security of the network is provided by people who are staking the assets on Ethereum ecosystem, having this proof of stake consensus algorithm. So that's a huge difference and a big success to the whole industry. I also wanted to share with you one interesting chart from the bridge that is one of the most used right now. It's called Orbiter Finance. Actually, just yesterday we discussed with Petro that the breaking moment here, when the amount of transactions on layer 2 surpassed the transactions on layer 1 has happened during the summer in 2022. So right now we can see the huge growth, and we can see that the amount of transactions on layer 2s are 3 times higher than on Ethereum. So we have around almost 24 million transactions on layer 2s, with a huge part of them on Arbitrum, so around 30%. The second blockchain per transactions is ZK Sync Era. And the next one is Starknet, and then Optimism. Of course, this data is not static, so it's usually changing every day, every second, actually, and it's just great to observe and to see this helicopter view on the activities on Ethereum as a layer 1 and layer 2 solutions.
Yeah, could you share the screen, please, so we also see the metric?
Oh, thanks for saying that, guys. I'm sorry. So it's Orbiter Finance. As I mentioned, they have a great place here where you can observe data from layer 2 blockchains and Ethereum as well. Orbiter Finance is a bridge. So here you can bridge your assets from layer 2 blockchain to layer 1, or from layer 1 to layer 2. Also, you can bridge from layer 2 to layer 2. So it has a lot of features, and we already tested it in our own. It works quite well, and the commissions are affordable here. So what we can see, and something that I tried to mention, is a breaking moment that actually has happened in the end of the summer, when the amount of previous year, when the amount of transactions and in layer 2 surpassed the amount of transactions in layer 1. So at this point, we have 3 times more transactions on layer 2 blockchains than on Ethereum. And together with Petro, we already discussed that this amount will grow significantly higher during the next couple of years, because layer 2 blockchains, they offer more affordable and faster transactions. At the same time, they have security of the layer 1 blockchain. I'm curious to hear your thoughts, Petro, regarding Arbitrum, the current leader on layer 2 as a layer 2 blockchain. Feel free to share your screen or just comment here.
Yeah, actually, you have a metric for Arbitrum from Trilemma that I wanted to share with you today.
Please go ahead.
Let me try to share my screen as well. So it's loading. Yeah, we have Arbitrum here. Yeah, but maybe before moving to Arbitrum, I wanted also to highlight the TVL of all rollups that we have. So you remember that TVL of Ethereum is standing at around 55 billion right now. And for rollups, it is roughly 4 billion, and 65% of this TVL is actually tied to Arbitrum. So with Arbitrum, what we have here is that I always enjoy to look into the case of token launch and try to understand how governance tokens are impacting the growth of the network. So if you remember, the governance token for Arbitrum, or ARB token, was launched back in March. So here was the case where the Arbitrum had a TVL of around 2.98 billion USD. And on the markets, like the whole markets, sentiments were improving since the start of 2023, where people were recovering from the FTX crash and Bitcoin been trading for $16,000. So 2023, start of 2023 was quite good time for crypto. And you can see from TVL, it was growing. But then when the token was launched, it dropped a bit at the very beginning due to people exiting from the token that were received through airdrop, and trying to get liquidity out of Arbitrum and move to some other chains that has no token launched yet. But then the marketing effect that was created by the token launch, where people were talking about Arbitrum and mentioning that, okay, maybe there is the case to move liquidity to Arbitrum because they are planning to distribute token to loyal community members in some future rounds. But also, if you look at activity on Arbitrum, a lot of it is tied to decentralized exchange that we have on Arbitrum. So you can see that the derivatives platform GMX, which is the flagship product of Arbitrum, is representing for 815 million in TVL. And curious to see the activity there, but I remember that GMX is one of the biggest platform that are generating the highest revenue across all platforms across all decentralized applications. But the state of Arbitrum currently is that the TVL is actually like similarly the same that we had before the token launch. But if you look at the chart, the performance was quite good. In April, we had almost 4 billion TVL, which was almost the all-time high for Arbitrum, or actually the all-time high, right? And a lot of people were talking that if the layer 2 chain rollup is launching the token, the people will move away from the rollup and will be targeting blockchain that has no token yet. But this is not the case for Arbitrum. You see that TVL recovered, token performance is quite good. The token is trading at $0.10 right now. And I'm really looking forward to see how the situation will be developing for optimistic rollups, including Arbitrum, including Optimism, but also what I'm very excited about to see how these new ZK rollups that were launched quite recently, we talk about Starknet, we talk about ZK Sync, how they will be able to bring liquidity to their ecosystem. Because if you check the TVL of ZK Sync era, for example, which was the mainnet of ZK Sync, ZK Rollup back in April. So currently the TVL is quite small. You can see that it is 118 million in comparison to almost 3 billion that we have on Arbitrum. But I always want to show you the example in difference of total value locked and total value breached. Because total value locked is something that is locked across DeFi protocols on the ecosystem. So you can think that, okay, it is representing the size of the network, but it's not always the case. The better way to see how much funds was breached to the network is to actually look at metrics that are called total value breached. And we found a great Dune dashboard. Dune is actually the tool where people can use data from blockchain explorers and create different dashboards for analysis, for analytics. So you can see that for ZK Sync, we had 2.5 million bridgers into the network, and it's representing the total value bridge of 2.26 million ETH, which is representing around $4 billion bridged into the network. And in comparison to TVL of ZK Sync, where we had 118 millions, it seems that people are not moving their liquidity into DeFi protocols to provide liquidity or to farm yield, or they are rather just storing their assets in their wallets and interacting with protocols where there is no need to lock the liquidity. Curious to hear your thoughts about it, Ivan. What do you think? Why we see such big difference in TVL for optimistic rollups and ZK rollups?
Yeah, I agree with you, because we understand that ZK rollups are in the early stage of development. That even Starknet, one of the leading solutions in this field, suggests to the users that they can lose the funds, absolutely lose the funds. And we had even a few situations when people were commenting that they do not have an access to their funds. So when the technology is quite early, people are very accurate and cautious regarding the risks. And I think that's actually wise from their part. I'm personally trying all these technologies on my own, discovering the ecosystems of both ZK Sync and Starknet. And I'm impressed how quickly those ecosystems are growing and developing their products. So I think we started to test Starknet around 10 months ago, and right now it's absolutely different product. At the same time, ZK Sync has also built a lot of new blockchains, and just now is financing a lot of new products. So we will see, I think, more disrupting applications that will come soon to the ZK Sync, because they just started to do accelerations and supporting the startups in their who are building in their blockchain. I think we had a meeting with one of the marketing directors of ZK Sync around 2 weeks ago, and she mentioned that in the beginning of the next year, they will launch even more products to grow their ecosystem. That their target is to provide value to the users, to grow the community, and maybe after this they will launch their token. So at this point, they do not see that there will be a lot of utility for their token, because they didn't build the big community around it, enough big that they try to achieve. And later on, then after they will see that there is enough users to support the sustainability of their token price, they will, of course, launch it. But we'll see. It's not information that is publicly available. Even their tokenomics, we didn't see it so far. On the Starknet, we have an opposite situation when the project, I think, published an article on their Bravos blog. Bravos is one of the leading wallets on Starknet ecosystem. Maybe we can also later on share the article with you. And they published their tokenomics, and they provided more insights and information to their community regarding their plans. So what distribution of supply they will have, without details on the vesting, I suppose, but with quite extensive data on their token and on their future plans of the distribution. So by the way, they have a plan to distribute a part of the tokens to the community. That's why you can find a lot of interesting quests and opportunities on their wallets. They have Starknet has two leading wallets. The first one is Argent, or Argent X, actually the wallet that was supported by Starkware Industries. It's the main company that is building Starknet and other products. And also Bravos, the wallet that I mentioned to you. I personally love the UX and other features of Bravos. So they have quite cool user experience. For instance, they have a pro score, they have additional hints for people how to leverage the opportunities in their ecosystem. So I'm very excited personally about Starknet, especially Bravos, their launch strategy. Despite the information that we received just 2 weeks ago that the launch of the token was postponed for 5 months, I actually think it was quite wise to wait for the proper time for the launch, to wait for the community to be ready for this. I think it's a great idea that team has came with recently. Would you like to continue with the Starknet? Maybe comment here on the breachers.
Of course, I definitely agree with what you said, and what I also enjoy about the Starknet and ZK Sync, that they are like 100% community driven. They are looking into decentralization, and the case with ZK Sync, if you guys have tried to use the network before, and if you interacted with their official breach, so right now you can see that they actually introduced a community build breach, and they are disabled the previous breach, and right now all the bridging from layer 1 to ZK Sync is happening by the bridge that was created by the community, which is a great achievement. Same is happening with Starknet. So they are introducing decentralized applications and DEXs that were entirely built by the community of Starknet supporters. And I'm really looking forward to see more and more applications coming to the network, and from the same side to see that Foundation, Starknet developers, ZK-Sync developers, people who actually created the technology and the idea behind it will have less and less control over the network. And actually, the token launch for both ZK Sync and Starknet will help a lot to move forward to further decentralization and create way less control over the network by the foundations and initial developers. And getting back to stats, you can see that the difference for Starknet official breach is quite big between the ZK Sync. They have almost 2 times less breachers through the breach, and they have total value breached at 793 ETH, which is, in my opinion, due to the non-compatibility with EVM. So if you want to test ZK Sync and you are already Ethereum user, for you, there is no need to create a separate wallet. There is no need to somehow integrate and understand how you need to breach funds from one wallet to another chain. It's pretty easy, but the advantage that Starknet is building on their own language is actually the increased limit of scalability and ability to have account abstraction by design. When I'm talking about account abstraction, I'm expecting from wallets that we mentioned today, like Bravos, Argent, integration of smart recovery, meaning that in the future, you will be able to recover your password to the wallet through some usual ways that people outside the Web3 get used to do it. So you will be able to do it through the email or through the mobile phone, and you will be able to actually turn your wallet into a smart contract, and we'll do a lot of fascinating stuff about it. So we did have a great meeting about account abstraction, and I will ask our team to find a link on LinkedIn about this meeting and link it here. It will be very helpful to you guys to look through it and see the potential of account abstraction. And looking back into the metrics, you can imagine if Starknet being not EVM compatible for smart contracts, it is hard to actually collect data about the performance of the market, and you cannot rely solely on Dune dashboards and Dune analytics. You also need to check some different sources. And the source that I will be showing you is actually the Stark Scan, which is the blockchain explorer for Starknet. And here you can find a lot of information about the performance of the network. So you can find the peak transaction per second, which is the average transaction per second for 3 months peaked each day. So you can see that right now we have around 20 to 90 TPS, which is comparable to what we have on Ethereum, and it is nowhere close to the long-term goals that are set by developers of Starknet, having more than thousands of TPS. And then you can click here on the activity and see activity on the market. So you can see that TVL on Starknet is actually increasing. They have right now 132 million of total value locked on the network, and it increased almost 8% during the past months. But what is also interesting is actually having the understanding of active accounts, meaning how many wallets were active during a day. And you can see that on average during the past week, each day we had 77,000 active accounts, which is less than we have on Arbitrum and less than we have on ZK Sync, but it's higher than we have on some other layer 2 solutions. So ZK Rollups are relatively new, but they are showing a good traction in terms of new users testing their activities and moving their funds away from layer 1 to actually ZK Rollups. And the next metric is also useful to look through. It is called like number of transactions. You can understand how many transactions were done each day. And I propose to click at 7 days, so you can see that during the last 7 days there were roughly 2.9 million transactions, which is representing at 400,000 transactions per day, which is quite a good result. You remember we showing data where Arbitrum had 1 million average transactions per day. ZK Sync had around 500K, and we have like 400K for Starknet, which is a great result. And actually, the last metric that I wanted to share about Starknet is the number of wallets. I always like to look how the number of wallets registered on the blockchain is growing. We can see that currently there are 3.3 million total accounts registered on the Starknet, and 10% out of these accounts are outdated. So they can be used due to owners of this account not updating them to the next version after we had a mainnet update for Starknet back this summer. But these 3 million are actually active, and they are like able to use it for interaction on the blockchain. Also, here is the information about total number of smart contracts that were created, and you can see some fascinating stats that roughly 64% were created before the update, and they are outdated, and we have 36% of smart contracts, or 1,000,028 smart contracts that were created after the update and that are currently up to date and usable. So actually, that's it about the Starknet that I wanted to share. Would you like to add some thoughts here, Ivan?
Thank you, Petro. I think we provided a lot of information. I'm curious to hear the feedback from community. Maybe some questions. Guys, feel free to add your questions to the chat, and we will come there in 1 minute and check and try to provide the feedback there, because we provided, I think, a lot of information, especially the on-chain data. Definitely some metrics are dynamic, and probably in few days we will see absolutely different pictures. But just curious to hear your thoughts. What did you find insightful, and what questions still do you have and you would like us to answer? By the way, a brief announcement: during the next week, we plan to organize a metaverse event where we will discuss the Starknet ecosystem in details. So usually we do a lot of different meetings and different types of research activities in order to better understand the system and their dynamics. Just recently, we checked the portfolio of Starkware Industries, and it was quite insightful that the company not only helped teams to build Argent and Bravos, but also provided a lot of financial support. And I personally was shocked with the amount of funds raised by the wallet Argent. I think it was around $50 million raised by the wallet. So that's a huge, huge amount of money. So looking forward to see the chat right now. Feel free to leave your questions. I will update the LinkedIn and try to answer your questions. Now, just give me a second. Thank you for feedback, Josh. That's great to hear that you find this information insightful. Yeah, thank you, Abdul, for your feedback as well. Yeah, sometimes we are late. That happens. I do not see any questions. Petro, maybe you can also check the chat, because I do not see a lot of question there.
I'm checking it right now, and I see the question from Josh, who is migration to proof of stake. I have read that centralization may be an issue. Do you see this as an issue, and if so, what are the possible solutions? What do you think about centralization on ETH moving to POS even? Would you like to take it, or do you want me to take it?
Yeah, please take it. I think it would be nice to hear you.
Yeah, my understanding is that the risk here is that more entities and institutions are able to control the network because they have access to liquidity, and then they are able to stake on the network and be able to validate bigger chunk of network than we had during the proof of work. I see this risk clearly, but the solution for this risk is actually the solution that we had with Bitcoin at the very beginning, because Bitcoin was highly centralized. But when the market capitalization and size of asset was growing, it was way harder to institutions to be able and buy more Bitcoin and set up different mining activities to be able to control the network, right? The issue with 51% control over the network, where potentially Bitcoin can be hacked. I see that the risk is decreasing with the growth of the asset. And similarly, I see it with Ethereum, that right now, when we have the market cap of Ethereum, which is denominated in hundreds of millions, right? It's hard to think about it as it will grow in the future, and more entities will be able to buy more ETH to stake it and to be able to control the network. So I see the solution for this risk is actually the growth of the market cap and ability to institutions to be able to buy into the asset.
Yeah, we were just speaking about centralization, and I definitely support you with your thoughts, Petro, but also just see what happens when the rumors come to the Twitter regarding the possible Ethereum ETF application by BlackRock, if I'm not mistaken. So just received a message from one of my colleagues regarding the ETH ETF rumors, and Ethereum has grown significantly on that news. So we can see that we have around 8% growth in just 2 hours. So that's 6.5 actually. That's impressive. Impressive performance as always on rumors. As people say, buy on rumors, sell on news. So probably that's a good time to think about your Ethereum position. But I'm personally bullish and holding and staking the assets using different providers for this. So still waiting for better prices to exit. So just funny because we just started to speak about centralization, and we understand when the institutional investors will come to the market. Of course, the assets will be more centralized, and right now I think we have a great opportunity to be one of the early adopters of these emerging technologies, leveraging Ethereum ecosystem as well as layer 2 blockchains that are supporting the scaling. So I think, Petro, please go ahead.
Yeah, definitely agree on that. We also do have a question from Team. What are your thoughts on the types of alliances and partnerships that will be most impactful and why? I can also take it very briefly. I can say that having a good partnerships between some big projects and big blockchains is must have when we are looking into the way when crypto and Web3 will be interoperable. I can say that partnerships between different ecosystem will be very helpful for us, because right now the users are divided into different ecosystems. So there are many users that are using Ethereum. There are many users that are using Solana. And actually, we haven't seen a clear path to having partnerships between such big types of blockchains. And when we will have the solution for interoperability, for seamless interoperability between this blockchain, I see that it will be the great way to increase adoption of the blockchain. And we will be able to actually onboard 1 billion people into crypto. I'm very looking forward to it. Curious to hear your thoughts about it, Ivan, as well.
Sure. I love your kind of thoughts regarding the partnerships between blockchains. And just recently we saw that Polygon and another near layer 1 blockchain did a partnership in order to build a better solution. So I think it's not only about the community, it's also about the people who have a lot of ideas and talents in the teams to join and build something together. And in the case of Polygon and Near, they're building a new blockchain, so it will basically disrupt some industries in a couple of years. So I definitely support your ideas, and just want to say that we already have this type of partnerships who are building something together, and definitely we need more. Also, I expect more partnerships with government. We already see a great example is ICP that has built a partnership with several regulatory authorities and cities in the Switzerland. So I expect to have more partnerships like that. So the governments will be also leveraging this innovative technologies in the future. And I believe it is just now. So I think that teams are building these relationships, and we will just be shocked when in 5-10 years the blockchain technology would be used in our daily life. So right now it's more about maybe speculation, maybe DeFi, but soon as we see more cool games are coming, more kind of revolutionary products for agriculture, for other industries are burning. So I expect more cool things happening on the governmental level as well.
Yeah, I agree. It's a separate topic for discussion, actually. I remember we were talking with Venom blockchain team, and they mentioned that they have very good partnership with Abu Dhabi government, and they are working there. So yeah, I also looking forward into maybe exploring this topic a bit more, because we do have a concept of CBDC, which is also something of connection between blockchain and government. Maybe we will have even a separate event to talk about it if you will guys have more interest in it. But yeah.
I think we are just on time, and I would like to thank you, Petro, for presenting this insightful data. Always enjoy to be a part of events together with you, and thank you guys also for joining and for being so active. I appreciate your time and efforts to support us. Feel free to leave your feedback, your thoughts, or DM us regarding any type of collaboration partnership. We are and opened as well for it.
Also wanted to say thank you, Ivan, for hosting us today here, for your questions and insights. Always great to have these meetings with you. And guys, it was really insightful, and hear your feedback and questions in the chat. Looking forward to have some more meetings for you in the future, and we will definitely cover questions that we missed. We will look through the comments and we'll answer everything. So thanks again for joining us, and looking forward to have you on our next streams.
Thank you. Bye-bye.